Hello, welcome to an evening lettering session today. What day is it? June 24th, Tuesday night. I'm going to pop on here and do a scripture verse for the Letter for the Lord challenge. We're coming to the end of the month, and the theme for the month was godliness. And so we're going to look at that together tonight. When you hop on, say hello. If you're watching the replay, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here and that you found me. My name is Krystal. I am a hand letterer, artist, and author, designer, teacher of all the hand lettering things. So I am glad that you're popping on with me tonight, and I hope that I can teach you something new while you are watching. So, hey, Glinda, glad to see you tonight. We're gonna do a verse from the Letter for the Lord challenge. Hey, Donna, and hey, Doris, good to see both of you. Hey, Roxy. So the Letter for the Lord verse for today was kind of an odd one to hand letter. And sometimes I pick these verses thinking like this goes with the theme. This is such a good word. This is like, a great verse to read and take in and study. And they don't always make great lettering verses. Do you know what I mean? So today's verse is one of those verses. So sometimes it's great and you can pull out a little phrase and it's something that you can meditate on and hand letter easily, and it's great. Today's verse, well, I'm just going to read it for you, and you can see what I'm talking about. It is Malachi 2:15, and I've got a couple different versions here. So this one I think is the ESV, no, Christian Standard. So I'm going to read the ESV, though. I liked the ESV a little bit more. So Malachi 2:15. Did anybody look up the verse for today for the hand lettering challenge and kind of like, So the point of the lettering challenge is to get in the Bible, to read the verses in context, read a few verses before, a few verses after, understand the context, spend some time thinking about it, hand letter it, because we know that when we hand letter it, it gets more into our heart and into our mind. And so again, I picked this verse because I felt like, it goes very good with the theme of godliness. But it is not a very easy verse to hand letter. So this is what it says. It's talking about the unfaithful priests in Israel and like how they were unfaithful in their marriages. And so it says, did he not make them one with a portion of the Spirit in their union? And what was the one God seeking? Godly offspring. So guard yourselves in your spirit and let none of you be faithless to your wife of your youth. And so it's talking about being faithful to your spouse, faithful in your marriage, right? I must have read a portion of that verse. I think the guard yourself, and I didn't realize that it was that long verse. So that's on me when I picked the verses. So what I thought we would do, since that's the verse of the day, I'm like, of all the days that I get on here and letter one of the scripture verses, it's kind of one of the ones that's a little bit more difficult. So we're going to letter in the Interleaved Journaling Bible tonight. And we're going to do a synopsis of that verse. All right. So we're going to kind of summarize it in our own words for some hand lettering. So I pulled out a couple of my journaling Bibles. At first, I was thinking that we could use this illustrating Bible because I love it and I don't do very much in it. I'm always wanting to find a reason to do some lettering in here, but the verse for today is on this page with this Malachi sticking out here. And so I didn't like that too much. I didn't feel like that was really going to go with the design of the lettering. I was hoping for a blank page. I guess I could go on the back of here, but I like for it to be on the page that the verse is on. So I'm going to set that aside for another day. We'll have to come back on here whenever we can really do something in here. So we're going to do the interleaved Bible instead. Let me make sure my phone is on silent because last time I got a phone call in the middle of the live. Okay, so this is the Crossway Books Interleaved Journaling Bible. It's, like you can see, very large. I don't really take this to church with me. There is a blank page on every other page. So we have this whole blank page that we can do journaling in. You can take notes. It actually would be really cool to do sermon notes in here, but I guess I would be afraid I would mess up my Bible if I did that. So I use it for Bible journaling instead. So let me turn the camera around and we will get started on that tonight. Before I forget, I wanted to tell you, if you're coming to the workshop, it's tomorrow night. I have my summer workshop, and I think everybody that I have seen comment so far has already signed up. But if you're watching and you haven't signed up yet, we're doing a hand lettering workshop tomorrow night, and it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be Wednesday and Thursday night, and we are hand lettering the scripture, "Be still and know that I am God." And I don't have my sample in here. I have a blank canvas because what I was going to tell you was, before you come tomorrow night, you're going to want to grab your canvas. Now, if you're just hearing about this, you could run out and grab your supplies tomorrow. I give you a supply list. It's very basic supplies that you can find at any craft store, maybe even at Walmart. I think you could maybe get everything from Walmart too. But we're working on these canvas panels, and you will have a week to do your project after we're done. So you could still come tomorrow, watch, even if you don't have all of your supplies. And then you could go and do the project on your own after you've watched it. So it's up to you. But if you're coming tomorrow and you want to work alongside me and you want to do it step by step with me, which is how we're going to teach it, make sure you paint your canvas first. So I have this color over here. It is an apple barrel color. It's called Warm Buff. It's just a tan, kind of a beigey tan color. You can pick any beigey tan color that you like or that would work with you. Or if you want to get more colorful, you can. But we're going to be painting this onto our canvases before we come to the workshop so that it's nice and dry, because you do not want to be dealing with wet paint during the workshop. Trust me on that. I've done it way too many times on lives with y'all, and it is not fun. So come with your painted canvas dry. If you pick a different color besides the tan, just think about your paint pen. We have a black paint pen in this example, which I'm not holding my example. I'm holding a blank canvas. But we're going to be doing our hand lettering in black. So you would want to make sure your black ink from your paint pen will show up on your background color. So don't pick navy and then plan on having black lettering show up. It won't work. So just think about that if you're picking a different color for your backgrounds. So I will pop this on here real fast on the screen. If you have not registered yet, it's free. It's going to be on YouTube. You can comment 625 for the link to register. You need to register so that you can get the link to the live, because it's going to be a private unlisted link. So you won't just be able to pop onto my YouTube page and find it. So we do that to cut down on the amount of spammers and people who want to just cause a ruckus on there. So, okay, let's do our hand lettering for tonight. So I'll pull my camera over here and switch out my screen. Let's see. Could do that one, or we could do that one. So we'll try. And I'm losing light, so I brought down only one of my lights because all of my other live equipment is upstairs on the 3rd floor, which is where we're going to be tomorrow for the workshop. And so I just brought down one little piddly light tonight, and I realized, see, when I turn it off, maybe that's better when I turn it off. Actually, it's more even. But I want you to be able to see what I'm doing down here, and I'm losing daylight. So hopefully it won't get too dark for us while we're working tonight. So here we are. Again, this is the Interleaved Bible. This is Malachi, not a book of the Bible that we do a lot of lettering in normally. So I know it's kind of a strange pick. It just happens to be that's what the verse of the day was. So if you're looking for that challenge too, you can go to krystalwitten.com, and Krystal with a K. And it's right there on the homepage. Just scroll down and you will find the 2025 lettering challenges, and you can print off those verses each month. So, all right, let's get started. So we're going to letter, and it's a little bit awkward for me because it's on the left-hand side of the page, or sorry, the right-hand side of the page. And I'm left-handed, so you can kind of see like I'm fighting a little bit with this binding. But maybe if I put something up under there, we're going to do guard yourselves and be faithful. So we're going to pencil in first. Let me get it down where you can see. And I'm using this. I was digging around in the homeschool drawer looking for a pencil. And I was like, why am I digging around for these cheap pencils? I have good pencils that I never use. And so this is a Blackwing Pearl. If you've never used a Blackwing, they're amazing. So smooth, like butter. And I absolutely love them. It's one of the pencils that I recommend in my book. I got a negative review on my toolkit, my pen toolkit that I sell, because I say it's like all my favorite tools, but everything in there is Tombow. And so somebody left me a bad review, and they said, I don't think that this is legitimately your favorite tools. I think this feels like a sponsored, I don't know. It was like, everything in here is Tombow, and I know that you like other products too because I have your book, or something like that. And I was like, oh, I hate that she thought that, because as a small business owner, I can't get access to these pencils. I would totally put them in my toolkit if I could, but I have asked them if I could purchase them wholesale, and they told me no. They said, we're going to do brick and mortar stores only, because I told them I would be selling it online. And I was like, okay, no big deal, because I do love the Tombow pencils too. But I was like, oh, I feel like I want to explain myself to that person, but I can't now because it's, it's over and done with. But do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like you want to explain yourself all the time? I'm always kind of jealous of the people who I feel like are so confident and they don't ever feel like they need to explain themselves to other people. So I am just penciling in the word guard. And you can see that I'm going at it from I'm fitting everything together like puzzle pieces, right? So the G had the little swoop there. And so then the U comes up underneath it so that they're not fighting for position, you know? So if you try to put everything where they're like just in a line, it almost looks like they don't go together or there's too much space between them. So I like to just nest everything real nicely together. So you can see how I did that and how you can use the shape of some letters to dictate the placement and shape of the other letters. So then I'm just going to come through in here and just add a little bit of a thicker downstroke. Now, normally I might leave all this detail of doing something like this for later, because everything we do in the pencil, we have to go back over and trace with the pen later on. So I love a good pencil though. Sometimes it just feels so good to draw with pencil, sketch, and just leave it. Like leave it with that messy pencil. But I know that doesn't always translate well in a picture or in a video online. So guard yourselves. Hey, Debbie, how are you? It's good to see you on here. I have missed seeing you on these. Guard yourselves. So I'm going slow and I'm kind of just taking my time and I'm watching my spacing. I didn't really think. Sometimes I will count ahead, like, okay, how many letters are in this word so that I can know where my center needs to be. And then sometimes you can just eyeball it, see how it works out. That works out pretty nicely. I like that. So guard yourselves. And then I'm going to do something like some sort of shape here. I'm going to do an oval, I think. And my goodness, that is a terrible oval. We'll go over it a few times to kind of get comfortable drawing that shape. And then you can even okay, I've got a little ruler here. This is not my favorite ruler. I like my wooden one, but I couldn't find it. I think it's still packed in my bag from when I was out of town last week. I'm actually going to flip it over. You know why I don't like this ruler is because it's got this cork on the back, and the cork makes it stand up off the page just slightly, but I always dig my pencil up underneath it. And so then I end up with not a straight line. So I'm going to flip that over. And I'm just going to try and eyeball that middle. I can see the lines of the text underneath, so that helps me know that I'm straight. Use what you can to your advantage, right? Okay, guard yourselves. And then we're going to put the word "and" in there. All caps, kind of fat, so that it can take up the whole rectangle. Not rectangle, oval. Hey, Jackie, welcome. Guard yourselves and be faithful. So now I have to think, do I want be faithful to be on one line? Because it's kind of a lot. But the word be is small, and that's not going to take up a lot of space. So yeah, I have to kind of think through like what would look the best. So because I have plenty of room, I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on 2 lines. So let's do the word be. Kind of blocky. So we're going to do a block sans serif. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in the basic shape. And I've got my upper bowl there a little bit bigger than the bottom one. So what you do is you build it out, and I really want it to be fatter than this. So let me do that again. I want it to be wider. So, you know, B is only 2 words. So I need it to be a little bit lower. And then come kind of out a little bit more. And you can see how we are drawing shapes, really. So if you feel like, oh, I don't have good handwriting, I can't do that, you're really just drawing shapes. And so once you learn the shapes, then you can do all kinds of lettering styles. E. All right, so we're going with a serif blocky shape. So I can bring in and thicken this up here on the inside as well as here. There's like a little half moon for those bees. Like that. And then with the E, I'm going to add in another line there to thicken that up. And then we'll also have the serif coming in, pointing inside to the letter and then splitting the middle there. So you can see what I erased. It's okay. And we can leave them so that they're straight like that, or when I say them, I mean the serifs, or we can give it a little bit of a curve and have it meet that main section. And when you do that, it just gives it a little bit of a different look, finished look. So whenever we do this with the ink pen, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay. So those are our serifs. That's how we built out. We started with the basic shape of the B and the E, and then we built it out. And so that is how we do the other styles besides just calligraphy. Guard yourselves and be faithful. So I am going to do this in a script. I'm going to give it a little bit of a flourish there. Not flourish. Don't spell the word that you're saying. Faithful, not flourish. Oh, glad I stopped that early. Faithful. And I'm going to come across over here to cross my T, and I'm going to bring it up and around into the H. It's one of my favorite flourishes to do. Y'all, I'm struggling tonight. Oh man, this is why I don't do nighttime lives very much, because my brain is only half working. Faithful. All right. There we go. Did I spell everything right? Guard yourselves and be faithful. This is a summary of the meaning behind the verse Malachi 2:15. So I will go ahead and put the reference down here. Malachi, I'm just going to do this all caps, kind of tall and skinny, because that's simple to do inside of a banner or like the shape that I have here. 215. All right, so there is our sketched out version. So now we could do so many different things. So if you really like to paint, you could do some watercolor around the edges here and paint that. You could just leave it simple, do black lettering on the white paper. I have this Pentel Touch pen that I was thinking about using tonight. I also have all of my twistables for some color. I have some of these other colors of those touch pens in here, and my Sharpie, the colorful Sharpie paint pens. So I'm just looking for one thing. Hold on just a second. Let me grab my fine pen. Okay. So this is the Sakura Micron fine line pen. So this one is the 03, and I've been putting these in the supply kits, the tool kits of all the different pens. I go back and forth. This and the Tombow version are very similar. I like them both. And so then after I got that criticism, I was like, let me see if I can find a different pen that's not a Tombow. So it's the only reason I switched it up. It's the only reason, y'all. Is that not ridiculous? Do you please make me feel better? Do you feel like that sometimes too? Like you need to, like the one person that says something, you think about that one and you like try to make the changes for that one person when no one else has said anything. Please tell me I'm not the only one like that. All right. So I'm going to just go in here with this fine line pen and I'm going to trace over the pencil. And because this is really fine, it's a very fine tip, you may not be able to see a really big difference right now. Let's see. I am zoomed in all the way, so I cannot get any closer for you at the moment without moving the camera. But I'm going to just move my paper here some weird directions so that I can get to it without being too shaky. My Sunday school class on Sunday, I teach 8th grade girls Sunday school. And our lesson was on the tongue, the power of the tongue. And it was a topical study. We have like 3 weeks left. We had 3 weeks left before we're done for the school year as far as our class goes. And so we have been doing Acts and 1st and 2nd Peter. It's been really great. But so we had these 3 weeks, and so they gave us these topical lessons to do with them. And I taught on Sunday, and it was about the power of the tongue, the power of your words. And so we talked about positive words, the words that we wish that people would say to us. And I gave them all a Post-it note, and I said, here, write a word or a phrase of something that you wish somebody would say to you, that you would love to hear somebody say to you. And their responses were so telling. Things like, I'm proud of you, you're pretty, you're kind. Just simple things that we sometimes don't say to people, even though we might think it, we maybe don't say it to them, And so then I also talked about the things that people say to you that are unkind and how those words stick in our minds too, right? And I asked them, I said, you don't have to share any examples, but can you think of something that somebody said to you one time that was unkind? And you still remember it? And they all said, like, yes, I remember something. And I'm like, I remember a lot of things too that people have said to me that are unkind. And in talking about that toolkit thing, there was another instance previously when I first started my business. I had the lettering prayer journal, but it was not the one that I have now. It was a different version. It was smaller and just a different layout and everything. And like I kept printing them and selling out, printing them, selling out. People were giving me great feedback. Oh, I love this so much. I love this prayer journal. It's been so helpful for me, blah, 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 blah. Lots of really positive comments. And I was very new in business. So it was like scary. It's still scary to put something new out there and be like, but it was really scary then. And this one, I remember waking up one morning to this email that this lady had sent me. I'm just going through here while I'm talking. Because I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I'm just going through here and I'm tracing with the fine line pen everything that I want to be in the fine line pen. And then I'm going to go back with the calligraphy pen and do the other parts, just so you know while I'm talking. Since I'm not instructing, I'm telling you stories. So I woke up this one morning to an email from a customer, and she said, I don't remember everything the email said, but it was like, I bought your prayer journal and this is a waste of money. I didn't know that it was going to be blank and that I was going to have to do all the writing. I thought it would have some stuff in there for me already. I don't know if she thought she was buying a devotional book or what, because like a prayer journal, you're supposed to write in it, but she missed it. And she was like, this is a waste of money. I, can't believe that you're selling these. I want my money back. I don't like, whatever. It was not nice. And it made me feel so sad. I remember I cried and I was like, my product is terrible. I don't even know why I'm selling these things. It's not good. And, like I had been printing them and selling out every single time. But that one person's comments like gutted me. And I remember where I was when I read it. And so I kind of like shrunk in a little bit to myself and was like, I just think maybe I won't do any more lettering. I won't do any more stuff. Like maybe this business thing I'm not cut out for this or whatever. And I went on like a home project kick and I was like, I'm just going to clean my entire house. Do y'all remember the Marie Kondo, like Spark Joy? Do y'all remember that whole thing? And so I was like, I'm just going to organize my whole entire house. And I realized I took a month to do that. Okay, a month. And I realized that was my way of avoiding doing something that I know God called me to do. Like I know God called me to this business and to do what I'm doing. I've asked him to release me from it multiple times. But ultimately, I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I spent that month totally avoiding it. And then it was like, had finally got my attention one time and as I was praying, and I just felt that still small voice, like that impression in your heart of keep going. Don't worry what people think. Keep doing what I've told you to do. I don't hear God audibly. He doesn't, speak to me audibly, but it was that deep impression in my heart of like, God gave me this and I've got to keep going. And so I did. And, I told the girls that story in my Sunday school class that you don't realize, it's okay to have a complaint, right? She had a complaint. She wasn't happy with the product. She didn't know what she was getting. But our words mean so much. They really matter. And we have to be so careful the way that we talk to people because those words could follow them. They could stick in their head for a really long time, you know? So anyway, I had a really good conversation in class on Sunday about that. And I hope that it's something that they remember, but I know that I will remember it because it, convicted me again. Like I need to just be careful how I talk to my kids and all that kind of stuff too, like we say things so flippantly and don't always realize the effect that it's going to have. So, all right. So now I am coming through here, having a hard time getting my downstrokes nice and thick because of the angle that I'm having to hold this Bible. So I'm just going to go back over there. Sometimes it's hard for me to go back over the same spot multiple times. I end up doing too much sometimes. Do you know what I mean? So this touch pen is very nice, but I don't like it as much as my Tombow. So don't be worried if you cannot go over the pencil marks perfectly. We are going to erase those. Once all of this is good and dry, we're going to go back. We're going to erase our pencil marks, and you won't even know that they were there unless you were pressing down really hard. All right. Guard yourselves. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that contrast pretty between the open block and then the calligraphy? All right. You hear my rooster out there? He crows all day long. Before I got a rooster, I thought they only crowed in the morning. Not mine. Oh, Debbie, you're so sweet. Thank you. And Doris, too. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are so sweet. And I'd like to say that I've built up a thick skin in all these years because, goodness, that was 10 years ago. But, words can still get to you. So it's a little bit easier now maybe to not put as much stock into it. That was the first time. You always remember the one negative thing. But isn't that so just like the enemy too, to, I don't know, try and discourage us when we're doing something that we feel like God gifted us in and is a way that we can bless others and glorify Him. The enemy is going to be all over that, trying to discourage us. And we can't let him. I let him for a month. But, all right. So there's kind of our bare bones of our design. And I will go ahead and I'm going to, I think, switch back to the fine line pen to do the Malachi. I personally like the simplicity of the black and white. But I will probably add a little bit of color. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I add some color to the design? Because I have a few places that I could do it. I can do it in the and, I can do it in the B, and I can do it in the guard. And I could, maybe even do some flowers or something on the outsides of that. I'm looking at my computer battery and I'm at 17%. And I forgot to grab my charger. Okay, so let's erase what we've got here first. And all my supplies are upstairs. It's like, ugh. So normally I would grab my good, big, thick eraser. Let's see if I might have one over here. No, I took everything upstairs. So I'll just use my pencil eraser. It's okay. It's no big deal. But if you have a big, thicker eraser, it just goes a little bit easier. It's a little faster. So, but I know for sure that I did not hit all my pencil marks there in the word guard. You can kind of see that. And you can kind of see with yourselves too. You can see the stray pencil marks that I didn't go over perfectly, because let's be honest, you're just never going to perfectly go over the same exact spot. That's very hard to do. So we're just going to erase them. Just make sure that it's good and dry before you do this. I have smeared it so many times. What did y'all say? Y'all want color? Tell me if you want color or if you like black and white. He's letting his girls know where he is, I think. All right. So you can kind of see the shadow of the outline of the pencil marks, but not super noticeable at this point. The only one that I can really see to my eye is that B where I erased it and started over. So, hey, Cherie, good to see you. How are you? You need to message me and tell me what you're up to. I haven't seen you in so long. Hey, Christine. Okay, so what are your thoughts of how you would add color? So I would add color in this little circle part right here, inside the B and the guard. And then we could add some leaves or vines or flowers or something to the outside corners maybe really quickly and do some color in there. So Becky says a little color. All right, we'll do it. I've got my twistables. I really need to invest in a nicer set of colored pencils. I need to do it. I'm kind of sick of these twistables. I've used them for so long. The colors are just okay. They're just they're always convenient because my kids had them, and I like that you can shade them real nicely. They were just easy to get my hands on, but I feel like I need to get some good. So if you have a set of colored pencils that you love, let me know what you recommend. Okay, so we're just gonna shade this lightly in the middle, a little bit darker on the outsides. And that is like a nice greenish aqua. And then we could do, that's kind of a dark blue. maybe like a lighter blue here. Just coloring in those little areas that are open. I do feel like they're just screaming for some color. I do. It's kind of hard to leave those open. So I'm going about halfway. And then I'm going to blend it with like this little teal color. Actually, it always throws me off. This is more of a green. It looks like a nice aqua, but it's really more green. But the colors still go really nicely together. They blend nicely. And then let's see, I'm going to keep that same green, I think, and do the B. Maybe I'll just do the same thing, blending that so that there's some continuity between the two words. So I'll start with that green up here. All right. And then the blue again down here. And just twist. All right. Oh, I can't forget to do this side of the bee too. So don't forget that. These are actually the same color, the first two that I used. I have a double set in here. So I have doubles of the colors. I thought that they were different, but they're not. All right, so guard yourselves and be faithful. See, like you see how I read over it constantly? So that's really honestly what I do when I'm hand lettering on my own by myself. I read back over it in my mind several times, and so it helps you memorize it. And in this instance, if you joined us late, we did not letter the whole verse. We summarized it because it was a long verse and it was talking about being faithful in your marriage because the priests in Israel were not being faithful. And so that was what God's word was to them. So we summarized that and came up with this. So I'm just going to do a little curly Q with a leaf on the end. There. Here, let me move myself out of the way. Not that one. That one. Okay, so that way you can see a little bit more of the screen a little bit better, hopefully. And then I'm going to do another one down here and just kind of try to match it similarly. Like that. And then we'll just do some green. Let's see. I think I like that. It's just a little bit of a darker green. So I'm going to push down kind of hard and then shade in a little bit lighter at the top. Maybe add a little bit of detail to that leaf too when I'm done with this one. All right, so if you liked this, if you like watching lettering, but you want to try it yourself, we're going to do a workshop tomorrow night. It's free, where I'm going to go step by step through the process, and you can go alongside with me. All right? So if you joined late and you don't know about the Be Still workshop, you comment 625, the numbers all together, 625 in the comments. It will send you the link to register so that you can get the link to be live with me on YouTube tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's Wednesday night and Thursday night. And we can do a project together, and I will show you step by step how to do some pretty hand lettering. Even if you have no lettering experience, you're like, I can't do what you just did. That's okay. We're doing a different method, and you will be able to do it. So I hope that you'll join me, and we will do a fun Canvas panel. I'll send you a supply list. You can go out tomorrow and get your supplies, or you can watch the live and then go get your supplies and do it after the fact. So you don't have to have everything on hand tomorrow night if you don't already, but if you have time to go get it tomorrow, it's very basic supplies. You can get at any craft store, or even I think at Walmart, I think you could get everything. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a fun night. It's 2 nights. We're going to start it tomorrow and finish it on Thursday. So, all right. Well, that is our scripture verse. I'm going to just come in here, and I'm going to add a little bit more detail to the leaves. But that is basically it. And this is our Letter for the Lord challenge verse of the day. Focus this month on the theme of godliness, living a godly life, and what the Bible says about that. So you will have to wait to find out what the theme for July will be. Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Put them in the comments if you've got a suggestion for what the theme for July should be. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't picked all the verses yet. So, Valerie, I see you're saying that you're afraid the kit won't be there in time. If it's not, because yes, I shipped it yesterday, so it may come by Thursday. I did try to ship like quicker. Some people who were further away, like California, it was like 5 days. So I did try to ship the quicker priority mail or whatever. So it would cut off a couple days, but you will still have the replays. So you can still watch tomorrow live. We're going to do some giveaways for people who were there live in the comments and everything. And so still come live, and then you can do the project after, because you'll have the replays to be able to go back and watch. So I'm about to lose battery, so I'm going to go. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I look forward to tomorrow. Hope you can join me for the workshop. Until next time, I hope that you have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you. Go and do some fun lettering for the Lord. All right. Bye-bye.